city is dying. Poisoned. Its secrets. Buried and rotting. With the UESC holding a shovel. That's where you come in, Runner. A living weapon, reborn, every time you break. The truth is in your hands. Survive or die.
All right, that was the trailer for Marathon, the next game coming out from Bungie, Bungie's big PvPvE extraction shooter. My name is Jason Winter, this is Talking Trailers, and along with me this week, I've got Mr. Wilfredo Rivera. How are you, sir?
How's it going, Jason? It's been a while.
It has been a while, yeah, exactly. I think we haven't done a podcast together in like 3 years or something like that. 3-4 years.
It's about that, yeah.
Yeah, I just rung you up and you were like, oh yeah, sure, I remember you, sort of, maybe.
The guy, who's this guy?
Who's this guy?
The name sounds familiar.
Exactly. Well, anyway, something else we haven't heard about for a few years, or it seems like that way, is Marathon. It's been in development for a while, a bit of a rocky development from Bungie, makers, of course, of Destiny 2, which has also been a little rocky as of late. So that's kind of like, that's the theme of this. Is Marathon going to be the game that saves Bungie? Is it going to be what Bungie needs to get back into the good graces of players who maybe soured on Destiny 2 and need something else to get them to feel like they felt when they first played Destiny or Halo or some other great Bungie game of the past? What do you think? Looking at this trailer, looking at what you know about the game, Wilfredo, what do you think of the chances that this does what it needs to do for Bungie?
It doesn't look good. This is I'm just going to be honest with you. This feels like Concord. This feels like Crucible. This is a game where I don't think a lot of people have a lot of faith right now in Bungie.
Yeah.
Primarily because of the debacle with Destiny 2 and how Sony seems to be doing this weird shift when it comes to their games. I mean, Concord, they launched it, shut it down, launched it, shut it down completely. So I feel like we're going to get more of that in this. I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks good.
Sure.
It's a nice little premise, but there's no stability. I just feel as though that this is not one of those games that's going to stick around very long. I give it 3 months before they're starting to say, we're probably going to take this one down too.
I think it's going to go more than that, just for how long it's been around and all the work they've done on it. I think at least it gets an Anthem-style kind of lifespan, which is not saying the greatest thing, but at least that was around for a few years.
That's true.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think it's got a little better chance. I think maybe they realize what kind of dire straits they're in, and they did delay it once already, so probably more than that internally, but at least as far as announcements go, they've delayed it once. So I think they know they're kind of in deep doo-doo here, and they got to knock it out of the park, so hopefully they're going to do that within, what's it going to be, March 5th is the launch date. This was the launch trailer, so they've got about another month and change to figure it out. They're also going to have an open preview weekend at some point before launch, so yeah, and they're doing everything they can.
I mean, that's good. I mean, I prefer companies, especially when you're trying to get people to play your game, to do like a even if it's just a beta weekend.
Yep.
Let players play your game so you can get some more feedback so you can improve before the official launch. I just played a PAX Day last week.
Sure.
And it's a solid game. It's not one that I'd be willing to go into full tilt until they tighten things up. Same thing here. Hopefully, when they have their playtest weekend, whenever that is, they will be able to get more feedback on what players want.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll help. But I don't know, man. This one's dicey.
It's dicey for sure. Absolutely, yeah. Well, let's move on now to something a little more deadly than dicey instead of dicey. Deadhaus Sonata, which is the next game coming out from the creator of the Legacy of Kain series. So let's take a look at that.
Victus!
Deformis, second of Annalyn. Remember, lightning does not discriminate between the living and the dead.
Okay, that was the trailer for Deadhaus Sonata from Dennis Dyack, the creator of the Legacy of Kain series. It's going to be a free-to-play ARPG with 7 character classes where you can go out and murder to your heart's content and get loot when you kill people. So, pretty typical ARPG stuff. Well, Fredo, I'm not as big into the Legacy of Kain series as some people are, so I'll let you take the lead on this one and let me know what you thought about all this.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. The first 10 seconds of this trailer, I was excited. This moment I heard that the creator of one of my favorite franchises, the Legacy of Kain franchise, was coming back and doing something. I was like, oh my God, yes. Are we going to get a Legacy of Kain Blood Omen 3? Or are we getting like the band back together?
I can sense the disappointment coming. I can hear it already.
Yeah, because it was very much like, did they just reskin Smite?
No.
This is...
Exactly.
It feels like they took some aspects and just said, you know what? We're going to make this a game. It has potential. I'll put that out there right now. It does have potential. But this does not do me any favors for wanting to play this game. As a big nerd for the Legacy of Kain franchise, one, does this take place in Nosgoth? Question mark. 2, there's if you go onto the Steam page, it says that it has pretty deep character customization and stuff. I think they may have gotten that part wrong because it's more gear oriented, but we don't even know what kind of gear you're going to be getting. We didn't see anything in the trailer. And this game also looks like it's in alpha. Like, it just doesn't look polished. It doesn't look sharp. It looks very drab. It's my biggest issue that I've had with V Rising. I love V Rising, but the art style just seems very blank. Same thing with this. This feels like textures are missing, shadows are missing. Maybe this is all early concept stuff, but apparently this is supposed to drop sometime this year.
Yeah.
So put this in the oven a little bit longer. Let it bake. Because you need to bring that energy if you're going to do something in a vampire-esque style.
Yeah.
Legacy of Kain, mind you, seeing some of those moves kind of come back, like draining the blood, awesome. To have it in this like almost ribbon-esque style swirl was cool. But that's only a small portion. I want to see more gameplay. I want to see if there's an actual story that goes along with this in some way. Where does it take place? What's the lore? It's enticing. There's a lot of potential, but it needs to cook longer, I think.
Yeah, absolutely it does. It was looking a little rough in places, and not just the 30-year-old footage of the old game. Yeah,
which is crazy because GOG has Legacy of Kain Blood Omen, and they've revamped it so it works on modern PCs. And I play the hell out of that game.
Right.
I love that game. And I'm like, oh, yeah. What is this? Yeah. So disappointing, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you are, and they've got time, like you said, so hopefully they'll be able to polish that up and put out something that Legacy of Kain nerds like you can enjoy.
Yes, please, please. Ooh, I hope they have skins of the characters from the Legacy of Kain franchise. That'd be great.
All right. Well, our next trailer is MIO, Memories in Orbit. It is a Metroidvania, a very pretty looking one, and you'll see that right now. Take a look.
Tangled vines among withering stars. And then there's you again. Will you do it, sapling? Will you give back what you have been gifted?
Many generations ago, a promise was made. But we could not keep our word. And now, they are gone. Soon it will be us.
All right, that was MIO, Memories in Orbit. As I said, a very pretty, very stylish looking kind of Metroidvania, sort of in the style of Hollow Knight in terms of like gameplay. That's going to be the first comparison people are going to make. Maybe not going to be quite as successful as Hollow Knight in terms of just the raw number of players and the love for it and the sales and so forth. But they're definitely going for that kind of vibe. Definitely going for a kind of old school gaming combined with the new and pretty kind of art to go with it. I think it looks really stylish, looks really cool. It's getting a little bit of flack on the Steam reviews, which we'll get to in a bit. But Wilfredo, what were your impressions of it?
Again, you kind of stated it. It's gorgeous. It using the pastels that they're using for this game. It gives it a different kind of feel and a vibe. It almost feels like happy sad,
Almost
where
like a
the
painting,
colors
sort
pop.
of. Yeah.
Really does. It does feel like a very beautiful and detailed painting. The action looks pretty good. I get a little confused from time to time when it comes to like the 2D, 3D aspect of things. As a Metroidvania, I love Metroidvanias. To have like the camera shifting from time to time, it'll throw me off a little bit. But if it's done right, I don't even notice. But this looks promising. This looks like it actually has some meat behind it. We'll know more when it actually drops. Actually, I think
It did drop, this week.
out. Yeah. I'm actually tempted to go buy it because I haven't had much of a problem with Focus Interactive. They're really good with a lot of their stuff, even if it is kind of niche and it's more AA than anything. But it's usually pretty solid. I had a great time with the Surge and the Surge 2. This looks pretty dope too. So I can't lie. I'm kind of interested.
All right, well, if you want to buy it, it's on Steam for $20 on other platforms too, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, so you can get it pretty much anywhere. But like I said, the reviews they're around 80% right now. People are liking it, but they're also saying difficulty is maybe a little too much. Like it's a little too punishing, doesn't give you all the tools you need to succeed. Talking a lot about how movement especially can be difficult against bigger bosses. It doesn't have like health regeneration. So there's one of the comments said that the worst thing that happened to Metroidvanias was Souls-like games. And that's what they've kind of figured is a problem here. They try to make it a little too difficult, a little too challenging. Maybe they'll edit that out a little bit. Maybe they'll give a not easy mode, but at least not eye-bleedingly hard mode at some point. So yeah, that's the one thing that people are complaining about mostly, I think.
That's fair. That's a fair complaint to bring. But at the same time, a lot of games are like that. Like Hollow Knight, for instance. Hollow Knight doesn't really hold your hand. It will brutalize you very quickly. And I love Hollow Knight. It's such a fantastic game.
A lot of people do, yeah.
So I think the people who want to see these things, I guess, as their first entry into something new, they may want a little bit more of a safety rail.
Sure.
For me, the way how I see it, I'm just going to treat it like it's a Soul-like. and just hope that I don't get bodied every 30 seconds. That's
All
it.
right. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right. Our next trailer is for Streets of Fortuna from developer Kit Fox Game. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the character artist on the Streets of Fortuna team at Kit Fox Games. You might have seen some clips of this footage in our trailer last month, but today I'm here to explain a little bit more about how the game actually works, for people who want an extra peek under the hood. At first, just surviving in this game can be hard. When you arrive in Fortuna, you aren't a legal resident, you don't have anywhere to sleep, and nobody has any extra food to share. It's pretty tough. But as you start to thrive in the city, we're hoping to make this a game where you can really live however you want, as a true sandbox RPG. To that end, we've decided to use the entity component system in Unity, which allows us to manage thousands of simulated people all across the city, as well as every detail about them, including their needs, their culture, tastes, schedules, property, and their relationships. This person here isn't scripted to be drunk. She came here on her own for entertainment after finishing work, and has had enough drinks now to become tipsy, which means she's more pliable in an influence test, and can tell me rumors related to people in her community, like her disgruntled acquaintance that lives in the same apartment block. We're going to use that tip for our own nefarious purposes. You can see here that as we sneak into this wealthy domus, we're in focus mode, which lets us carefully plan each move. It'll automatically pause the game every time I complete an action. This is a game with real consequences for your body, reputation, and coin purse, up to and including death. So it's important to take your time in a dangerous situation. Tarn Adams from Dwarf Fortress has advised us on the systems design and architecture to help us maximize how much expression and open-endedness the player will have. After features related to survival and thieving are ready, we'll start looking at artisanship, like cooking and blacksmithing, as well as factions within the city. We've already released some devlogs on topics like dialogue, character generation, and generating the city layout, but let us know if there are other topics that you'd still like to hear about before we start closed alpha later this year. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.
All right, that was Streets of Fortuna, a survival sandbox game, but not the typical kind of survival sandbox you think about where you're going out and chopping wood and fighting off zombies every 5 minutes. It takes place in what looks like kind of a Roman city, and you're just kind of a street urchin at the start, trying to find your way around, trying to make your fortune, or possibly murder your way to the top if that's how you want to play. Very open-ended, very challenging, it looks like, in several ways. Reminds me of a more, I guess I could say more refined, more urban kind of Kenshi, if that's a game anyone's familiar with out there. That's a lot of comparison people are drawing to it. I played a good bit of Kenshi back in the day. Was terrible at it. Lost my arms and legs all the time. Hopefully I won't have that case in Streets of Fortuna, but it's kind of a little, it's not a game that you're going to necessarily think of as being a top tier AAA game, but it's kind of an under the radar game, just like Kenshi, that I could see a lot of people getting into and really enjoying all the different elements of it and all the different kinds of gameplay and all the different things you can do to, live the way you want to. What do you think, Wilfredo? How does this look to you?
When I first saw this, I'm not gonna lie, I thought, did they give RuneScape another graphical update? I really did.
It's not the prettiest game, I'll admit, but it's nice. It's nice.
It's one of those things. I think that's going to catch some of the market too, because there are people who are looking for that nostalgia hit.
Yeah,
this has the look of that. Starting from rags to riches, I played a little bit of Kenshi. That game was pretty tough. And you're right, losing your limbs all the time was kind of annoying. I don't see this being one of those games that really blows up, but it'll definitely carve its own little niche. There are a lot of people who would be into this. I think a lot of the old school MMO players would definitely want to play this because it gives them that old school RuneScape kind of vibe with a lot of just open-endedness and being able to have those choices to try and do it legit or just say, screw it, I'm going to start a whole smuggling empire so I can make my money. It might be a little slower pace, but I think this will get that niche pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into them now because it would take another 20 minutes, but I can remember all my different Kenshi games and all the different things I did and the stories that came out of that. And this seems like a good game to really develop stories. Like, oh, I started out as a beggar in the street. I worked for a while as a butcher, but also with my cleaver, I also went off and murdered people and took their money or whatever. So yeah, that's the sort of thing you're going to have, I think, in this game. Just the stories you can create from it.
You can definitely get a Sweeney Todd kind of thing. Yeah, I was a barber.
Well, hopefully we're not butchering people and feeding them to the high and mighty. Yeah, well, maybe that's in
Northern Green, right?
Who knows? Who knows? All right, we got one more trailer to look at and discuss today, and that is going to be probably one you've heard of coming out this week. That one is for Fable. Let's take a look.
How can I help you, boss?
Fancy a date?
Very impressive.
All right, that was a quick look at Fable. That was just the 42nd trailer they released this week. There's also a much longer dev diary that was part of the Xbox Direct. We'll link to that below. That's about 10 minutes long. That's what we're showing off to the side right now. And that one went into a lot more detail about the gameplay, about the mechanics, about the different things you're going to do, and so on. Wow. I mean, this one is... I love it. I love everything I've seen about it so far. And Wilfredo, I think you feel the same way.
I'm so psyched for this. I am so excited. It's been a long time. I remember when I first played Fable, when it first came out, I was super excited. And for some odd reason, it felt like the game was super short back then, but it kind of was.
All games were shorter back then. Yeah.
That is a fact. But this looks expansive. And as much as it's cruel for me to say, you can still kick chickens.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's part of it. You got to do that.
Yes. As long as I don't kick too many chickens. I do not need what happened to me in Zelda to happen again. But I like the idea that you are the first hero in Generations. I love the fact that Richard Ayoade is playing as a antagonist. I'm so excited. It looks so good, and the gameplay looks solid. The combat looks like, especially with the hammer, it looks weighty. It looks impactful. I say let them cook. Let them take as much time as they need, because the last Fable was fairly disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, the combat, of course, looks good, but I'm more interested in the interpersonal actions of it. Like, they talk about all that in the trailer, about how you can, and this is kind of a classic Fable thing, about how you can talk to people and get different reputations with them and so on, and marry some of them, have kids, buy houses, and so forth. It almost feels to me kind of like a kind of Sims kind of game, or even, you know, what I get more into, Crusader Kings 3, where you have this reputation with people and they'll respond to you appropriately. But it's in fully voiced 3D world. They're not doing the sim talk, or it's not text I have to read or whatever. I can't wait to see how that works out. If you want to go really old school, it almost reminds me a little of something like Shenmue, where people would have their own little, they have their own routines. It's another thing to talk about. People go, you can follow someone all day, find out what they do. They go to their work, they go home, they argue with their wife, whatever. You can just follow. You can be a stalker, basically. If you want to do
sure,
that.
if that's your thing.
Yeah, I mean, never mind. Yeah, so I really am really looking forward to just that part of it. I might not even do adventuring, forget combat. I just want to hang out in the town all day, hang out in the tavern, talk to people, get drunk, accumulate my reputation and just be a good person sometime, maybe a not so good person another time. That's something that they talked about in an interview, how they don't have a morality system this time because different people are going to think of you in different ways. Sometimes it's good to be an a-hole, sometimes it's not. Going to be different in different towns and so forth. So a lot of depth they're going to have in this system, but I agree with you. Hopefully they'll let it cook enough that it'll turn out well. They said fall 2026 is when it's going to come out. So, man, if it does, this could be like the big release of the year. This could be game of the year quality candidate if it turns out all right. Don't want to dial up the hype meter too much just yet, but
clearly
it's got the potential certainly to be a huge deal.
Yeah, no, this game looks absolutely amazing. And to your point about the social interactions, just the fact that you'll walk past somebody who's jealous of you because you've made money and you've got like an empire, whereas another person would walk past you and go, "Hey, you're doing a great job," or "You're that amazing hero that I saw," or "I can't believe you killed this creature," blah blah blah. That's really cool because it means that your decisions really are impacting the world in different ways. That is such a nice, fresh idea versus just, oh, you made this choice, now the story goes this way.
Yeah, or this one person like something plus 20 reputation or whatever, right? Yeah.
Right. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. This is a game I hope will kind of help those of us out there who are waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out. Hopefully this will tide us over. Hell, it may even change us to go, you know what, we're going to stick with this because we don't know what's going on with Bethesda.
Yeah, exactly. On that note, that's the end of the show for today. Thank you again, Wilfredo, for coming out. Hope you all enjoyed it. We've got one more trailer to show you. That's going to be for Life is Strange Reunion, which is the culmination of the Life is Strange storyline with Max and Chloe. If you haven't played these games before, they're very narrative-focused, very decision-based and so on. But this is going to be supposedly the final one in this series, so take a look at that on our way out. Have a good one, stay safe, and play on. Bye-bye.
I thought the storm would be the worst thing to hit Caledon. But now, I only have 3 days to save everyone. Help! Moses! All that destruction, and there was nothing I could do.
You bought us time. Time that we'll make the most of.
With so many lives at stake, I need all the help I can get. Sophie?
In the flesh. If you saw this campus burn down, then it means it was supposed to happen. Who are you to stop it?
I know there are consequences to using your powers, but maybe this time is different?
Right when everything is falling into chaos. She walks in, like she heard her cue. Chloe? How are you here?
Lots to discuss. Right now, I think we should run.
Chloe.
Let's go, Max! I have memories of things that can't possibly be true. Max, did you do this?
Your visions, the fire, we'll figure it all out.
Whatever comes next, it will happen to us.
This isn't fair! You can't have come back to me just to end up here. Did we meet?